All right, folks, it's officially day 11 of 31 Days of Horror slash 31 Days of Halloween. And today we have a feature from 1968, which was a really important year for horror. Probably the two most important films to come out that year, of course, being Night of the Living Dead and Rosemary's Baby. Well, this film isn't as important as those other two, and it's certainly not as good. But really, for what it is, it's actually pretty interesting. I mean, if nothing else, interesting diversion to kind of see just how psychedelic and freaky the horror offerings really got in the late 1960s. And I don't know if this movie was still technically under the Hays Code, but you kind of see it being just a little bit more adventurous than some of the other films made earlier that decade. So anyway, Spider Baby, its subtitle is The Maddest Story Ever Told. So they're not really keen on hyperbole, apparently. But basically, it's a very weird movie. It's kind of like a really, really, really hardcore version of the Addams Family. It revolves around this family, and they suffer from some made-up disorder where the older they get, they actually start regressing in age. So it's kind of like Jack, but in reverse, where instead of like being kids that get really old looking, they look really old, but they're becoming kids. And eventually they get to a point where like they stop regressing to childhood, they become infantile, and then they end up going down the evolutionary ladder, according to Wikipedia. And that's when they turn into like monsters and well, not technically monsters. They act like monsters, but they're still humans. And as you can tell by the name of the movie, Spider Baby, one of the members of this family has a very uh, keen fondness for making synthetic webs and capturing mailmen and eating them. And this film, it really isn't played like a traditional horror film. In fact, it's kind of a black comedy. And the thing that I thought was really interesting about the movie is that Lon Chaney Jr. plays the primary protagonist. And basically, what he's trying to do is he's trying to, number one, keep the kids safe from the outside world and obviously keep everyone else safe from being eaten by them. But there's also this really great subplot. In fact, it's such a big subplot, it actually kind of becomes the entire, linchpin of the entire movie, where they have some distant family, like second or third cousins removed, showing up. And they want to spend the night, and basically Lon Chaney's like running around the rest of the movie trying to keep his kids from basically eating them. And there's a big grand finale where it's in the basement, and things get freaky deaky. And overall, it's pretty entertaining. I mean, it's not a great movie by any stretch, but has a really good cast. We'll actually see Sid Haig, the guy from all the Rob Zombie movies, actually makes an appearance in this one, back when he was a young Turk. And it's weird seeing him, but as soon as he shows him on camera, even though he's like 40 years younger than we've ever seen him in a movie, he still looks just like Sid Haig. It's crazy. So it's one of those films where frankly, it doesn't work as a horror film. It doesn't really work as a comedy either. But I mean, the aesthetics are there. They're trying really hard. It's got a certain energy to it. And I think Lon Chaney Jr. actually does a pretty good job playing the caretaker. He's definitely the best thing about the entire movie. Oh, pardon me. Looks like I'm regressing down the evolutionary ladder. But yeah, all in all, I mean, it's fun. It's pretty forgettable, instantly dated. And plenty of films from that time frame that are a lot better. But just for what it is, you know what? Put on a pot of chili, order a pizza. You can do a whole lot worse. I'm going to end up giving this one 2.5 Ghost Reese's Cups out of 4. So it's slightly better than average, but still nothing really worth going out of your way to see. But if it comes on TV late at night, you got nothing better going on. It's good background noise, if nothing else. All right, and with day 11, that concludes our fun run through the 1960s. And tomorrow we're going to get knee deep into what I consider to be the absolute best decade ever for horror films, the 1970s. And to kick things off, we have an extremely underrated and extraordinarily influential film from 1971 that doesn't get anywhere near as much recognition and praise and adulation as it deserves. And you'll definitely want to stick around for that one. See you then.